So something that's crazy is that you probably own one of these, a fitness tracker worth a couple $100s, right? And you check it every single morning, and yet you probably don't even know what it's actually telling you about your current health status. Every CEO and executive that I coach has one of these, right? And before they come and work with me, they've been focusing on improving their health for years now, maybe even decades. And they've had this fitness tracker, whatever it may be, Whoop, Garmin, Aura, Apple Watch, whatever it may be. They've had it for a while now. They've been trying to improve their health and optimize their health systems, and yet they still aren't able to tell me what these metrics are actually saying about their health status. HRV, resting heart rate, VO2 max, sleep score, recovery score, right? All of these different metrics and all of this data, yet they don't know what it actually means. Today, that is exactly what I'm breaking down. The 4 most important metrics that your fitness tracker is telling you, how to decipher what it's saying, why these metrics actually matter, what they're measuring, and how to read it for a lifestyle of longevity and high performance with your health. So I'm going to kick straight into it and go with the first metric that I'm talking about today. Out of the 4, again, that first one is HRV. Heart rate variability. Most guys look at it and think high is good, low is bad, and then leave it at that. But it's definitely deeper than that. So here's what HRV is actually measuring and actually telling you, right? It's not measuring your current fitness level, your cardiovascular health, right? Your HRV is simply measuring your stress load and how much stress your central nervous system is actually under currently. So this is a compilation of your training in the gym, your sleep, a hard conversation you had with your business partner yesterday, a hard conversation with your wife yesterday, or your partner or your family, a client dinner, a flight, a drink, everything. All of these add stress onto your nervous system. Your body doesn't really know the difference between a workout and the stress that comes from that. And like I've been saying, a business meeting, right? And the stress that comes with that. Stress is just stress to your nervous system, to your body and to your brain, not what's actually causing it. And so all of these things that you go under with your life, with all your responsibilities, that's just another layer of stress being added. And again, that is exactly what HRV is telling you, how much stress that you are currently under and how your body is able to handle it. And so when you look at it one morning and you see that it's below your regular average, right? That's not necessarily bad. That's inevitable. Low days are going to happen, right? Things happen with our lives. And so it's not going to be perfect, but on those low days, you want to make sure that you look at the actual trend week by week, month by month. Obviously 3-4 days in a row of a low trending HRV, that's when it gets bad, right? But one low day out of multiple higher or average days with your HRV, that's good. That's inevitable. That's going to happen. You're in a good place. But again, when there are a couple down days and you're following that downtrend with your HRV, that tells you that something needs to change and you need to pull back on the intensity in one aspect of your life. So that's HRV. Now let's talk about resting heart rate. This is the second one that we're talking about today. And most people, when they see the resting heart rate, they look at it in their morning. Maybe they see that it's up a couple points rather than a couple days ago is a little bit lower, and they don't think anything more of it. You may notice the change in this metric, but you don't really know what it's meaning. So I'll tell you this right now, a rising uptrend in resting heart rate is obviously not good, right? The lower the resting heart rate, the better. When you see a trend upward of your resting heart rate, meaning it's obviously getting higher, closer to 60, 70, 80 beats per minute. This is the earliest sign that you'll get before you can actually feel it, right? Your body's going to tell you before you may feel it of overtraining, of working too much, of handling too much stress right now, and your body just needs a break. And this is the earliest signal that you want to be conscious about before you can consciously even feel it. You're going to see it first, and this means that you are overtraining, right? You're under recovered. Maybe even you're getting sick, right? Your immune system, again, your body's going to tell you, and that's with that resting heart rate. It's going to show you and tell you what's happening with your body before it actually happens, before the crash, before the sickness, before the feeling of burnout. So again, same rule as the HRV metric, right? You don't want to look at just one specific day where it's a little bit lower or a little bit higher than your average. You want to look at those trend lines. Is it trending downward or upward? And if it's trending upward, forward, it says a lot about what you may need to change. And honestly, when I'm looking at one of my clients' data, right, and looking at their performance metrics, HRV, resting heart rate, I look at them together, right, because that's going to paint the full picture of what's really going on with their central nervous system, with their body, and with their health, right? One or the other is going to tell you, maybe this is happening, maybe this is what we need to pull back on to help HRV, right? Individually, they're going to tell you some good things, but together, right, a too high of a resting heart rate, too low of HRV is going to tell you the exact story of what's going on with someone's health. And that's sort of what I'm looking at when I look at my client's data in this specific aspect of health. The third one here is recovery score. So this one is where I see actually the most confusion when people have the fitness tracker and they look at it regularly, right? They see the numbers, they see the snapshot of what their body is telling them, but they don't really quite know what it means. And again, this is where the most confusion happens. I have a good example of this, right? This was a couple days ago on Sunday, right? And as you can see, 43% recovery score, but then a 77% sleep score, okay? And so this is confusing because how can that both be true? A 77% sleep score, that's pretty good, right? I'd say that's pretty good. That's close to 100, but then a 43% in the yellow marker of a recovery score. How can they both be true? So I'll tell you the exact difference right now, right? Your sleep score, that 77% that you see of mine, that's pretty much just a snapshot and a summary of last night's sleep, right? Last night's sleep performance, it's just one night. But how were you actually able to recover from those hours of sleep? And so I can explain it further with this, right? Picture this, a scenario where you had a client dinner last night, you had a couple drinks, obviously consuming alcohol, and then you were finishing work up after that to try and just finish out the day well for your business or for work. And then you finally head to bed by the end of the night, right? And then you wake up the next day, you technically slept for 8 hours, but your HRV was trending upward because of the stress from the alcohol, from working too late, not having a proper wind down sequence, right? And so again, your sleep looks pretty good. You slept from, maybe 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., 8 hours. That looks good. But again, the quality of those hours, what your HRV and your resting heart rate looked like, they usually are on that overnight baseline. So again, it's the quality. Recovery is the quality of your sleep. And then that sleep score is just the efficiency and how long you actually slept for, if you kind of went to bed and woke up around the same time. So that was the third metric that I'm talking about in this video. Now let's move on to the fourth one, which is VO2 max, a very, very important metric that most guys just look at their VO2 max and what their fitness tracker is telling them. And, their fitness tracker says, your VO2 max is above average for your age range. And so men see that and they're like, oh, damn, I'm doing something right. I don't know what it is, but I'm doing something right. And so again, it's important to understand what it's meaning, how you can actually improve it, because let's actually just get into it. VO2 max is not just about cardiovascular health, endurance, right? VO2 max, a lot of people that know about it are endurance athletes, right? Long distance runners, because yes, it plays a huge role in your cardiovascular health, in how long you can run for. But it's not just an important metric for endurance athletes. It's important for any high performer, any athlete, any person who wants to perform at their 100% capacity. This is one of those metrics that tells you your capabilities. VO2 max is one of the strongest predictors we know of, right, for longevity, high performance, and again, performing at your 100% capacity. So this really isn't just a performance metric, right? It's a lifespan metric. Every year that you sort of let it drift, and slightly decline year after year, not thinking too much about it, because it technically says you're above average for your age group, but you're not doing anything to intentionally and actively increase it or slow down the decline. You're not just getting, out of shape or less in shape. You're actually costing the performance that you can continue to run at for years and decades ahead. You're shortening that runway in terms of how long you can continue to operate at that same level of what you've built everything else around in your life. The good news about VO2 max is that, again, this is one of those metrics that you can actually intentionally train and actually work towards improving, unlike the HRV, the readiness score kind of, and the resting heart rate. But again, this VO2 max one, it's a little bit different. It responds to the right kind of cardio work, right? It responds to the right amount of cardio work that you're doing. And when programmed correctly, it actually moves much faster than people think. I've made an entire video about VO2 max, how to increase it, how to train for longevity, focusing on this important metric, VO2 max. And so again, go watch that video if you've never heard about VO2 max before and you're interested in how to actually increase it and improve it for overall longevity, high performance, performing at your 100% capacity, how you can actually train that. Again, I've made a whole nother video on that, so make sure to check it out, right? But for this video, again, just explaining what that VO2 max number is actually telling you, right? Not just your health, not just your cardiovascular level. Yes, that does play a big role in it. But again, it's not just for cardio. It's not just for endurance. It's most important for longevity. So there you have it, right? The 4 very simple metrics to actually try and understand at the better level than you ever have before. Instead of just glancing at these numbers saying, okay, nice, I got better sleep last night. I don't know how, but I'm feeling pretty good today. And luckily my readiness score is high, right? Again, that's just one example of what I think a lot of men do when they buy a fitness tracker. It just kind of tells them what they want to hear and, not really how to improve these numbers, what to focus on, and what they're actually measuring, what it's telling you about your body. If you want to see exactly how I build this into a full dashboard for my clients, HRV, recovery, VO2 max, all of it in one place with context attached, DM me, tracker, and I'll send it over. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I definitely enjoyed making it. I'm very passionate about health and fitness, longevity, high performance, right? Not just training like a bodybuilder, not just getting in shape for a wedding or for the beach or for the summer. This is lifestyle. This should be the new you, right? And how that starts is actually understanding how all of this works, how to actually improve all of these different aspects of your health and why it's important. So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Make sure to go do that on my Instagram if you're interested in working together, and I'll see you in the next one.